Hi,
Hello, Claude.
how are you?
Good, thank you.
It's good to see you. And yeah, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Danielle, and I am a co-founder of Real Fit Limited, which is based in East London. I'm a mum of two young boys, and I am originally from an island called St. Helena. It's in the South Atlantic Ocean, and historically, it was the exile of Napoleon, the French emperor. The British used to use our island as a prison. And I'm ex-military, ex-fire service, and now I'm a business owner. I work for myself, my own independent business, and I'm happy to be here today. Thanks so much for this opportunity.
Likewise, and thank you for your time. It's amazing to have you. So, first thing first, I would love to ask you, what is it like being a fitness coach and in this current climate?
Hmm. Um, Being a fitness coach, everybody feels like it's such a saturated and um, overcrowded area. However, the statistics actually show that health and wellness isn't at its best right now. Obesity and type 2 diabetes is skyrocketing. I think last year they recorded 63% of England's population was overweight or obese and had type 2 diabetes. So it just goes to show that even though it might look like there are a lot of fitness coaches, there's a lot of health and wellness experts out there, the statistic shows that there's something amiss a little bit in the fact that health in normal life is still degrading. We're not actually getting any healthier, which should be the opposite if there was so many of us, right?
Mm.
As for, it makes it a little bit harder to enjoy a walk in London if there's a lot of fumes and stuff. I think that as a fitness coach, I do my part as an individual to try and look after the planet we got and the climate we got to live in. We should be very
Mm.
grateful. And as a as a business owner, I should say, as a business owner, it's my responsibility to make sure that what we do doesn't impact the climate or doesn't disrespect our environment that we're living in either. Just pick up your rubbish. Just, there are things in place to help us to protect the environment. There are things out of our control, but I believe as individuals, one person can make a big difference, to how we treat
Mm.
the world. Definitely.
That's brilliant to hear. And so, how your business work? Is it that it's an in-person or is it both? Is it like where you can do virtual as well?
Yes, so we do both. Funny enough, I had an inclination to offer my courses online before the lockdown started. So we were one step ahead, but it was a bit of a tricky time when we were in the transition of it all going online. And now I only do courses online. I'm running a Body Blast course. I also do one-to-one, but as a mom, it can get busy. So
Mm.
I've done courses to put out there for people to enjoy online. And we've got other fitness coaches that offer support as well. But we encapsulate the idea of mind, body, soul. And and what we want to do is raise an awareness that these three components have to complement each other, and all three components have to have a unique discovery of wellness for us to be healthy and well overall, in every aspect.
Wow. And would you say within, as you just said, that basically you was benefited in the fact that you was lucky to be able to kind of, have a head start in doing it virtually and having that in place. What's your views on the fact of fitness and gym places that haven't really been given too much support, and how do you feel they could be kind of improved within the support that they could to kind of be able to function.
Yes, yeah. And now this is a very detrimental time for us as a people, as a generation, to continue to do a face-to-face support. And the reason why I say this is, one, that in-person energy that you get from a coach, from a doctor, from anybody, it's not even close to what you would get online. You know, to go into a gym and to feel that living energy of the session is what enhances your results as well. But we also have to think about the fact that a lot of businesses are on the brink of foreclosure because of the finances and those things that have been implemented onto them by the state. So us as a generation, we have to go out and support those places now, not just to improve our health and well-being, but if we continue to do everything online, go to YouTube and do free stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. Just do an online approach, we are going to see
more closures.
Yeah, it's going to take a detrimental effect and make an impact on what our children can experience in their future. So some people are saying, oh, there won't be gyms anymore based on this. We as a people have to make sure that that's not the case. You know, there's no way you can force people to go in the gym. However, I tell you, the living experience of it is something that you cannot get online. You cannot experience that feeling and the results that you get as well.
So after saying that, there needs to be, would you say there needs to be like more of a way of educating people about that, you know, you don't have to be that fit, you don't have to be, of course, kind of a fit lover, it's a fitness lover, it's more the fact that, you know, it's good for you. There is ways where it's accommodating and being more accessible. So do you think that there needs to be, I don't know, like ideas that could be implemented, would you say, from your point of view?
Yeah, the thing is, you know, the world is so bombarded by information and accessibility. It's like when you go on your phone, you know, you go on, you're like, oh, I'm going to pay this bill. And then you end up on social media just scrolling and you're like, why did I even come on my phone? And it's just the same for people that go on for a purpose. And there's so much information out there that you get sidetracked in what you're actually looking for. Now, I think when it comes to health and wellness, and I'll repeat this again, it's my own opinion, I feel like if the government, whoever governs the law or whoever governs the information that is being pushed out to the masses, I feel like if they had to give the same seriousness and the same attention to health and well-being as in obesity, and see that that in itself is a pandemic, the same way they gave all that attention to the COVID scenario, I think that people would take it a little bit more seriously, because the stats just don't add up when you look at how accessible and even free some health and well-being services are. Like some bars in London, they offer free sessions within local parks to try and help local people. But I think there needs to be a massive shift and a bigger enlightenment of education to the seriousness of people taking care of their health, and definitely in a unique way. Because one size doesn't fit all when it comes to health and well-being, you know?
Yeah, and also would you say that, like, you think even within the schools they could do more as well? Because within the food that they feed the children, and also within the fact of the age that children go into education as well?
When it comes to PE, now they call it physical education. I think it's still the same. When it comes to physical education, I can remember 5 people I went to school with, top of my head, who were really, really good at sports and would shine when it came to PE. and 5 people that weren't very good at sports and would always be at the back of the race in PE. And the barrier that PE causes for young people is that if you're not good at sports, you're not going to be good at PE. It's almost like a system where if you're not good at it, we're not going to invest time in you. However, I think that the schools would benefit from moving away from a sports-focused way of learning physical education and adapting a more unique approach, helping young people to discover that you need to have a unique approach to fitness. You know, one size is not going to fit you. Now, you might like swimming. I might like yoga. My buddy might not want to do sprinting or basketball. I might enjoy long distance running, cross country. The school limits our idea from a very young age about what health and fitness is supposed to look like, in my own personal opinion. And I say that looking back now, because those 5 people who didn't necessarily like running, they probably really would have enjoyed yoga. They would have enjoyed, and they probably would have avoided becoming obese or having a bad back, you know. When it comes to the food, like I mentioned that my son, he was going and they gave him pasta every day. He started getting a cold. And we only noticed this because if we fed him pasta, he would get a cold quite quickly. And it's because of the mucus that pasta has in it. We don't have to go into that. But I find that because there's so many children, I guess the approach is do the cheapest option, the quick option, just boil some pasta or whatever and just give to the children. And I think my personal opinion on this, I will say that this is my personal opinion. If the schooling system, whoever, the health secretary, whoever is in charge of making these big decisions about what our children eat in school, especially public schools, when the borough is funding money to that school to feed that child, I think that they would benefit from employing someone who is a qualified nutritionist, somebody who is an expert in what children should be eating, should be a little bit more holistic and a little bit more organic. Maybe even empowering our local farmers. You know, you can buy pasta from anywhere. For a school or a borough to empower its own farmers to supply a school would be an amazing achievement, one for mankind, but also for the economy in London at this time too, you know. And our children would learn from a very young age how to eat for their body, not just to fill their belly so they can go back in the class, but also how to nurture their body in a loving way with good food, you know. And when I say good food, you know, fresh food that's not going to cause them to get ill, and it's just a fast cook up, you know what I mean?
And also, I think, even adding on to that, do you believe that we will still be able to save our swimming pools with the recent report of, I think it was 2,000 swimming or 12,000 swimming pools that are going to be unfortunately closing because they haven't put enough investment after we've had Olympians who don't just go and get medals, they also want the next generation to have this access to a range of sports.
I think this is quite sad, you know, and I'm guessing the thing is, money is such a big excuse. It's a big but for society, and I get it. You got running costs, whatever. The impact of these swimming pools closing, and based on where they're closing. You know, as a child, we used to go swimming. It was the school's responsibility to teach us to swim. So once a week, we would all get on the bus and go to our local swimming pool and be taught to swim by one of the swimming pool lifeguards. And I feel like none of us were at a disadvantage, no matter where we came from, what our family's income was. We all had the right and opportunity to learn to swim. If we didn't learn to swim, that was our own choice after, but we all had that opportunity. And I think that in this day and age, when we're being locked in our houses more and more, and we're being told to be afraid more and more, I think we need the swimming pools now more than anything. And if our governing bodies could just go out on a limb for once, just to take some of the money to keep the swimming pools open, our generation would definitely benefit tremendously. Like you said, how many Olympians are growing up that are meant to be swimming for our future? We won't know that until we fight to keep that open, you know, and keep that right available to people. I don't think that based on where you come from or what their borrowers' money or financial system is like, should be the sacrifice of a public amenity. It should be something else has to give, you know? I don't know. I don't like to get into politics, but if someone's making really, really big bucks and they can afford a pay cut, then let's do that. Yeah. But why take something away from people who don't have anything already?
No, it's very true. And I think that, you know, this is the main fact we have to, I think what people have to do, they have to really like call out on the importance of facilities being, you could say, maintained, and also bring in new facilities as well, because I think the amount of Olympians that have done ever so well, however, it's not just about them doing well, because they want the next generation to do well and have that access. The other question I was going to ask is, within the fitness industry and being a fitness coach, what is the inclusivity when it comes to people of disability and also when it comes to people of colour?
So I've met so many, being in the military, there's so many different cultures and so many different people. I've met judo instructors from the Caribbean, you know, I've met swimming instructors from Africa. There's so much potential when you take it apart and you see the kinds of people that are literally standing up to be everyday heroes in promoting health and wellness for people. You know, these people are saving lives. And I don't know the statistic of how many different cultures are in the fitness industry, but when I walk around, I do see quite a few different cultures. Now, I find when it comes to diversity and race, I find that it starts within the home. You know, the issue we have is we're trying to leave a generation of division. You know, even the word diversity, it shows that there is some division somewhere. We should all be saying we all fit, and which is one of the reasons why we called our business that, is because if we're constantly looking at another person and seeing a culture or a race or a disability, that's showing a breakdown in equality in the world. It's showing that someone is less or more human here, where the fact is we all fit, we're all human. And the only way I feel like we could overcome this division and make everybody feel included is to start in the home, because this idea of any hate or any difference, it starts in the home. I feel like either one, as a young child, you see your parent or your guardian treat someone of a certain culture or color or ability different to what you treat another person, which is likely to be the same as your culture or, you know, color. And when our children see that there is a difference in how you treat other people based on how they look or how they behave, your children record that, and it carries on through generation. We're unconsciously learning stuff that we don't really want to learn, and we have to unlearn it when we're older. So,
Yeah.
so I find that's the main issue. I think the schools do a good job in trying to empower an inclusive environment now, where all people are entitled to an education, regardless of where they come from or what they look like. So children do have that opportunity to mix. However, if we as parents, especially as myself, aren't careful of how we talk about people in our homes, this breakdown will keep on happening throughout generations, you know? So it has to start with us today to make all of these experts out there, regardless of their color, give their gift to the world, you know? And that goes for every culture and every race, not just, you know.
Yeah. And would you say that within people being able to access, if they wanted to, so like for example, if tomorrow they want to become a fitness coach or go into the field of fitness, would they be able to access the kind of knowledge and also be able to have the qualifications to get into it? Do you feel that it's offered within education, or do you think it could be a idea to be offered within education?
You know, I think there's a lot in the school system. I did PE, and I did study PE as a GCSE. I find that because the level of education that is around PE is very limited, people are so unaware of how important it is. And if we had to implement, like I said in the beginning, some form of learning about unique fitness and unique wellness, how to take care of your body, what muscles to use, why is it important to squat, why is it important to lift this way. One, you would prevent a lot of injury, and two, you would have a very conscious and individualized society that knows how to take care of themselves. This will reduce costs to the NHS, you know, this would reduce medication costs. It would actually extend the quality and length of life. Getting passionate here. And
That's good.
I find that if we did that, the fitness industry would actually boom, and I feel like people would be more encouraged to look at how they can help themselves and not just go out and help other people all the time, because there's a trend in fitness coaching that all fitness coaches just want to teach people how to be strong and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger when that's not true. And that leads back to the lack of education about what fitness is about. There's so many different forms, you know, you got your weightlifters. And to be honest, I did my course online, and I've done a few courses now online. I don't feel like you can readily access an opportunity within a university or a college based on certain aspects. Like I wanted to go to Kingston in West London, and I couldn't go because no school in the I wanted to become a PE teacher for children for this purpose. And lo and behold, it wasn't meant to be, because I would either get fired or ridiculed based on how I feel. But no one would let me come into their school to do my my practical side of it, because you had to have a placement. And I felt like I felt disappointed at the time, but I felt like there wasn't an opportunity, which is very sad. Because if we as a people want to progress, there should be a way around an opportunity. My diploma, my degree, shouldn't depend on 10 people turning me away and saying, oh, we don't have space for her to come into our school. You know, the place where you're doing the studying that university or that college that you're giving your money to, or the government funded money to, should have a place for you if that is the criteria, in my own opinion. And I just think that there could be a better way to go about getting your qualification rather than doing it all on your own online and stressing about it, or being rejected just because you can't get a placement, you know? So, and there is, you know, you got your doctors who got doctorates and diplomas and degrees of all kinds, you know? You got doctors in sports, just like you do for doctors in medication. So, so the opportunity is there. It just might not be accessible to everybody based on certain criteria, which really needs a little bit of focus and cleaning up.
And would you say, sorry to interrupt, would you say that it's about who you know than looking at the, you could say, potential and also the vision of what that person could do?
I hope, you know, I really hope that's not the case. I do feel like in England that it doesn't look like the case because there's so many people. I'm sure if you went to do a bit of digging, you might find that that is the case sometimes. And I know where I come from, that is the case a lot of the time, sadly, because there's only about, I don't know, 3,000 people. And you can see that that is the case. I have met people within the military, and I've had experiences in the military as well that showed that that was the case, that it wasn't based on expertise, it wasn't based on performance, it was based merely on who know who, and which is a bit unfortunate because in this day and age, you want the best person for the job. You know, you want to hire someone that's going to get the job done. Like in fitness, I get so many calls. Oh, I really want to lose weight. I really want to learn to do fitness. You know, enough is enough. And when it comes to the crunch of doing it, they go with someone because it might be, oh, this person suits my time, or I found a free video on YouTube, and then they come back a year later and say, oh, I didn't lose the weight. The YouTube videos didn't work. And you have to think that when we're taking this approach to hiring somebody for any job or to take on any course, to be a doctor or a fitness coach, we should always look at the potential, like you say, the performance, we should put all names aside, you know? You should have to dress up all the same so no one can see your face or hear your voice. So when they pick you, it will just be based on that. Or but it is the way it is sometimes. I do hope that it will stop.
No, it's interesting. And also the other thing I was importantly going to say is within that environment, is it sometimes, is it the fact that it can sometimes be too much pressure, or do you find that you are able to kind of maintain your mental health within it all?
I think, you know, when I discovered meditation, I was severely depressed for about 4 years, and it was my son ultimately that pushed me to go and get help because he was a young baby. And I reached out to the Department of Community Mental Health within the military and started therapy. Now, therapy is a funny thing. It didn't work for me. And what actually worked for me was when I discovered who I truly am. And I discovered that I had a purpose and I had a freedom of choice. And that's when my life started changing and the depression started to dissipate. And life didn't get any easier. The way I thought about myself and the way I responded to what was happening based on how I felt about myself now. And now that I had discovered who I truly am, really helped me to hone in on the fact that my mental health is up to me to maintain. It's all about me discovering why I feel that way, who I am, and knowing that it's okay to feel like that sometimes, but I don't have to choose that. And therapy didn't do that for me. Therapy was just me echoing my problems all the time. And I was wondering, why am I still angry if I'm in therapy? But it didn't help, because words have power, you know, words are so creative. And when I realized that everything that was happening around me was because of me, I could hone in and actually take control after, because we've been led to believe that we just have to go to school, graduate, go to work, get married, have kids, do this. You know, there's so much pressure on us as young people, which actually led me to the last question you asked as well. That, you know, you send a 4-year-old child to school. Their brain isn't developed to a point of understanding or even being able to express how they feel. They feel it, but they can't express it. And so from the age of 4, we're just bombarded with this idea of sit here, do this. Everybody's telling you what to do. And I got lost. But for good reason. So I am grateful for the issues I had to go through. But to get me here, if I would have been enlightened to how to look after my mental health from a young age, it probably would have saved me a lot of time and a lot of heartache, you know, and like it will do for other people.
And would you say that in the fact of your own mental health and in general, would you say that there is support services there, or do you think that they need to look at more meditation and other methods that may be more beneficial? Because as you said for yourself, you said it felt like you were kind of just talking and it wasn't kind of improving your mental health within a situation of feeling quite bad.
I think the world is so full now with this idea that only the doctor can help me. And people are forgetting, one, we forgot who we are based on what I just said, you know, and two, we forget that nobody outside of ourselves, no doctor, no expert, or anybody can explain to you how you feel or why you feel the way you feel. You know, when I sit on my own and I listen to my mind, because our mind is there to create. Our mind is there to be listened to, our intuition. And when we fail to listen to it, then there is a little bit of friction, and then we feel like we're going into depression. And that's when it all kicks in. The mental health degrades, you know. And we go to get these tablets. We go to the doctor. The first thing he says is, very seldom he says, oh, go into therapy, because you have to wait in line to go to therapy. Before you get there, you commit suicide, you know? And so the answer is tablets all the time. And I feel like if people were introduced to at least 4, okay, let's be realistic. In a school, if they introduce at least 4 effective ways, proven and effective ways to help people relieve stress, relieve anxiety, and to deal with trauma from a very young age, again, you would save the NHS and any healthcare system millions. You know, families wouldn't have to suffer the repercussions of suicide.
No.
You know, young people can benefit from discovering who they are and how to deal with who they are from a young age. And I think that's very important. I know I would have benefited from it, for sure.
I could imagine, and that's the thing, is that I think, there's more that could be done, and I think it is such an important topic that really needs addressing and needs investment, and of course not really, I think the people that are tackling it within government needs a bit more of an education within how to deal with it. Other question I was going to ask. Well, first and foremost, I'll ask you, how are you? How are you feeling currently?
I feel amazing. I do feel amazing. And I have 2 boys, and I go off them. If they're quite happy or if they're angry, I know something's going on with me. But if, you know, I always try and turn to self now when it comes to my children, because I was at a point where I was telling myself, oh, I'm a really bad mom, you know, and because social media makes us feel like, oh, your kids should do this, they should do that, they should be in school, they should be doing. And when I realized I was becoming overwhelmed, I thought, hang on, I'm forgetting again. And so I make a conscious effort to try and make myself feel amazing and not take everything so personal. So, you know, I think that's very important.
Lovely.
In how you feel.
No, it really is. And I think that, you know, sometimes it's not about putting too much pressure on ourselves. We've been able to have a wonderful chat, even though we've had technical issues.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's all about not putting too much pressure and, of course, being our best self. That's all we can do. Other question I was going to ask, and I think this is the last and final one actually, is, do you believe in world peace?
I do. I do believe world peace is a possibility. However, I used to spend years, like I went through a conspiracy stage where I thought I could save the world and, you know, feel angry about it and everything would change. I used to be very sad about world hunger and stuff. And when I discovered who I truly am, I learned that the peace had to start within myself. And Gandhi, he said something beautiful that everyone quotes, you know, if we want to change the world, we have to start with self. And now when I feel there is turmoil around me, or someone comes to me in a way that I wouldn't expect, or I don't want them to, angry, or I realize that there's something within me that isn't at peace. And I do believe that when there is a conscious effort towards people becoming educated about where the peace starts from inside themselves, that we could all live in harmony. I think that we're only experiencing the opposite of world peace now, is because we all feel a little bit lost. We all feel a little bit afraid. We don't know who we truly are or what we're supposed to be doing, you know? And once we tap into that and we start looking within and making peace with our own self, world peace will be seen in our home, it'll be seen in our schools, in our workplaces, wherever we go. Peace will follow us because that's what we are. And I believe that is possible if we keep on talking about it. Most definitely.
Well, that's lovely. And thank you for finding time within your diary to talk with me today. And yes, all of you have been listening to the Claudes SEN Law National and International Campaign Instagram Live with Danielle. And this will be available to watch on Rewatch on my Instagram TV, and your information will also be found in my link in bio. And yeah, you can support Danielle, and also you can see her information in the pinned comment. And thank you very much. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, thank you so much. Third time lucky, Claude. Here we go. Enjoy.
Here we go. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you to everyone who joined.